Thank you so much for your sharing. And now we go to the last presentation in the afternoon session. And right now with the topic, getting a head start in the Metaverse, starting today with Meta. And please welcome on stage Mrs. Nhung Trung, Partnership Lead CPG Meta. And please give her a big applause, ladies and gentlemen. Nhung, welcome.
Let's take a closer look.
Did you know the rings are made up of billions of icy particles?
Really?
All right, perfect.
Oh, hey, Mark.
Hey, everyone. Boz, is that you?
Of course it's me.
Like a shot.
Some call it skill.
Keep talking. Yo. You're here! Hey. Let's jump in. Hi.
Hey.
So what do we think?
Things ready.
Imagine you could also drop an exclusive product in the Metaverse.
Let's go. Keep it going.
I hope that clip gave you the glimpse into the future, into the Metaverse. Hi, my name's Nhung. I'm from Meta, leading CPG partnership. So for who don't know what the CPG is, the consumer packaged goods. Okay, so I'm very glad to be here today and seeing everyone in person. So in the last 2 years, it's the pandemic. So I was in Singapore, and we are very good in Meta, connecting with people through webinars or meeting in the Horizon workroom. But I promise you, it's nothing beat connection in person. So very thank you, MMA, for having me here today. So it's quite. Suddenly I forgot what to say. This is the last presentations of today. So thank you for everyone to stay here in the last moment. And I hope that presentations will give you and spark you some idea to give you a little step into the future and into the Metaverse. In the next 20 minutes or so, I would like to give you some basic definitions of what is the Metaverse, Meta role in the Metaverse, and some sneak peek on interesting technology that Meta built for the Metaverse. And last but not least, the technology that is most relevant for you that you can apply for today's business, right? And if you talk about the basic definition of Metaverse, it's gonna be the next evolutions of the internet and social connectivity, right? There's already the few shift in the way people interact. So if you see the very left-hand side there, you probably recognize the phone. So raise your hand if you know somebody or you yourself use this phone before. Sorry, I couldn't see. Wow, there's few people. So, which is good. And then especially quite popular. And if you don't raise your hand, I know why. And you don't need to admit it in public. So I shall not say which year that phone is popular. But this is the time when the Web 1.0. So during Web 1.0, the way that people communicate is mostly through text. And it was static and mostly one-way communications. And Web 2.0 came out. At that time, this thing is getting much more interactive. And people had the phone on their hand, not Nokia phone, but the phone with camera. So Photo becomes the main format for communicate and share experience. And in the last few years, mobile network getting faster and faster. And of course, things getting more interactive. And then the way people connecting is also evolving. That's where photo become moving photo. So you see video becomes the main format for people to enjoy online content, right? But the exciting is not stopping just yet. So the Web 3.0, the Metaverse. The Metaverse, you think of it, is much more interactive and immersive with technology and experience. Think of the Metaverse as embodied internet, where you are not looking at it. Actually, you are part of it and you experience it. So I'm in Singapore. I'm Vietnamese, but I'm Singapore. So in the last 2 years, I'm not able to come back and visit my family because of the pandemic. I try to keep connection with my family through phone. So I call my mom every night. And I try to exercise with my friend through Zoom 3 times per week. We do talk to each other and we do seeing each other, but we still feel some distance and we don't feel like we are together. So that here comes the Metaverse. It is made up of virtual spaces where you can create and explore with another person who aren't in the same physical place as you, right? It lets you do things that is impossible in physical world with the people who not physically be with you. It's redefining distance and sometimes even physics. So that's Metaverse gonna feel very, very different. So there are 3 aspects of the Metaverse that make it feel very different from the internet. First, presence, right? As if you feel you are with another person and in another place. You feel that you share the same experience with them, although you are not physically with each other. Secondly, persistent, right? You can access to the Metaverse at any point in time. And there is the continuations of where you were before. So when you come back to the Metaverse, things gonna be the same. So you also able to bring the stuff with you as well, such as your digital piece of clothes or some artwork, right? There's also context within spaces as well. And third aspect is interoperability. So you can access the Metaverse from different devices. So you don't think that you can access the Metaverse only with the big VR set. No, you can access the Metaverse from different devices with different level of fidelity. So from the apps on mobile phone and PC to the big VR or the small AR devices in the future. So you also can able to travel seamlessly between spaces and experience without a need to exit or restart. Right? So there are already some early elements of the Metaverse are at play today. And brands are start leveraging it to create the more immersive experience with their consumer. So this is the example of Horizon Workroom that in Meta we use to do meetings, right? So this is the virtual space where people can come to co-create and brainstorming. In this meeting room, you can discuss important topic. You can whiteboard your idea. And if you see in the corner there, is also have a screen for people who are not in the Horizon workroom can dial in from outside. Just like the way you do the meeting in reality. it's gonna feel much more richer experience and more fun than the normal meeting. So there's gonna be special audio that literally you can turn to the people sit next to you and have a side conversations, just like how you are doing in the reality. So there also the social VR. This is the example of Horizon World, where a creator and people come together, meet, explore, and create the creative space together. There are already more than 10,000 worlds like this being created. And this is the example of Wendy, a fast food brand in the US. So Wendy launched their, in the Horizon World, what they call is Wendyverse, when people can use the VR set to access to their world and experience their first virtual Wendy restaurant and embarking into the fun and mouth-watering adventure. So not only VR, AR is also gaining very good momentum. So a lot of the well-known brand now is starting to use AR to engage and reach, not only engage, but also reach to consumer to experience, totally give them the totally different experience. Right? So if you look at the example from the left-hand side is Michael Kors. They personalize the consumer experience with the AR to let consumer try the glasses on their own face. Or Met, the furniture retailer, they let consumer visualize how the furniture can look like in their own home with VR. Like this be of sofa, how it look like with the color of their wall or their floor before they making the real purchase. And we make up example, they use the AR filter to let consumer try on the different lipstick shapes to see how it fit on their face. So AR is some technology that is already ready for you to play today. So the question is gonna be how your creativity can bring you to use this technology to engage with consumer in an entirely different way. So later at the end of the presentations, I will share with you one example from the brand in Vietnam that won several MMA awards using AR to reach and engage with their consumer. Right? So for the next decade, Metaverse will enable the next generation of social online experience. But it's not only experience that it's gonna bring. It also have the business aspect in it as well. So from the recent research that we have just did, the Metaverse will add in the global economy 3 trillion USD. And for the APAC itself, get what? 1 trillion USD. And this is huge. The opportunity is huge. So the question is going to be, can you, as a business, can you afford to be left out of this? So I can argue it's never be a good time to be in technology, and it's never be a good time in the business like today. So one thing I would like to emphasize here, just like the internet, the metaverse is not built or owned by one company. We all collectively building it. And Meta, same as that, Meta, we are not built the metaverse by ourselves. So it's collectively, and each of us will have to define our role in building the metaverse and how we're gonna step up to the metaverse. And at Meta, how we define our role. So we define our role is to accelerate the fundamental of technology, platform, and creative tools. For the creator can jump in and accelerate to the metaverse. And we weave this technology through and into our social media apps, right? So with that, globally and also APAC, we are seeing ourselves as pioneering technology, partnering with a company in the ecosystem, and for those who are in public interest to set up the right foundations for the metaverse. So first into technology, in optics, we have few fundamental technologies that I would like to share with you. So you will see in Meta, we are investing in both software and hardware to really unlock the potential of how defining distance and also providing boundless variety of how people expressing themselves and be together. So you probably see optics in display. Actually, I should have been bringing my Ray-Ban story here to cover myself from the very flashing light over there. You also heard I talking about Horizon Workroom and Horizon World in surface spaces. You heard about Quest in gaming and also some avatar and personifications. Two technologies I would like to share with you today. It's quite, it sounds like science fiction, but it's gonna become the reality. So first is interactions. So I'm not sure if you try the Quest. If you try the Quest, right, there's a handheld controller. And we use that one, you can point your whole thing with that handheld controller. But now in Meta, we look at the next generations of interactions where you just need to look at your hand and grab things and you even feel things. The object can feel soft, tough, or delicate. Quite amazing, isn't it? And we developed a prototype, haptic gloves. You see there, that can able to do all of this without the handheld controller. And next one, I think even more mind-blowing and science fiction is surface EMG. So our lab, probably the most advanced in the world, we developed the wristband that is able to send the sensations for you to able to feel the objects, the digital object, right? And you know how to do that? Just by thinking. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? So it's really manipulate. They can able to manipulate the simple interfaces, such as keyboard, and with a very minor movement from the finger only. And if you practice enough, without any noticeable movement at all. I'm really amazed by this, and it's really mind-blowing. And I mentioned earlier, the metaverse is not the same as internet. It's not built by one company or Meta itself. So in Meta, we are partner early with a company and a public group around the world to really build the foundations for the metaverse. And in the last few weeks, we also launched Meta first in Asia, the XR Hub in Taipei, Taiwan, which is the community space to foster innovations and empower the local ecosystem. So it's also it's marked a very significant milestone for us, where the world first head of state making a presentation, making a speech in our Horizon Workroom. So we're pretty proud of that. So we all see that the metaverse gonna be the biggest opportunity since the creations of the internet, right? And we are all here in Vietnam. We know that how these regions fast to adopt things, right? You see the speed of adopting messaging, the adopting in mobile. So it's not really far-fetched to imagine that the speed of adoption to the metaverse gonna be the same speed or even faster. So my questions to you gonna be, what do you have to have a foundations to step to the metaverse? So the metaverse gonna be 5 to 10 years, but you're gonna have to have a few steps to that. So what are your first step to the metaverse? So here I would like to highlight some technologies that are available today that you can start adopting to step yourself to the metaverse and to have a head start in the metaverse. So firstly, the live shopping. I think you heard Nimish mention about live shopping earlier, when people can buy and interact with the brand in real time, that you can use the live shopping. You heard about AR and VR that I shared earlier. And Ray-Ban story. So Ray-Ban story, I mentioned this should wear like it is sunglasses. When you able to take video and photo from the first person point of view. So literally you wear glasses and say, Facebook take photo, and it take photo for you. I wish that I could do that in here. And you can see how can I look like here in the stage with a very flashing light over there, and I cannot see anybody. And it make the viewer to really experience what you experience, right? Because it's a first person point of view. So imagine yourself and your business. What if your next commercial gonna be shoot by the Ray-Ban story? To let your consumer experience what your brand experience, right? And last but not least, I think Nimish also touched base on that in the social commerce. This is about messaging. So if you enable the messaging, then you can create the digital share space for the consumer to connect further with your brand and connect further to have more interactions with your brand and create sales and create brand love. So here is a few ideas or highlights how you can start to bridge yourself to the metaverse. So I would like to see a raise of hand here. How many of you start one or two experience one or two of this idea already today? You can raise your hand. Oh, we see few. What about 3 or 4? Okay, we have 3. So we have, and what about 5? None. Okay, so